Lovers and friends, how involved should your friends be in your relationship? Man, that's a
Mm,
good one because
that's a tough one.
and it's touchy for me, man, because for some reason I always end up in a situation like that where it's somebody involved in the relationship that I was in or that I'm currently in.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I do think that it can be a positive thing and it can be a negative thing.
hmm
But I do think the true answer for me would be, what type of friend do you actually have? Do you have a friend that is envious of who you are as a man or a woman, and maybe may provide a biased view, or do you have somebody who does have great experience and you just need a little bit of guidance on uh, guiding your own action or opinion on a particular issue? So I do think friends could definitely advise, because you do have people that take advantage of other of people in the relationship, and the person in the relationship may not see what's happening from the
Right.
outside looking in. But
Yeah.
that's a thin line, man. I mean, you really don't know what's being done between the two. So
hmm
for me, I would say for men, I think most men probably would say, you know, we don't really involve our friends to a great degree.
Yeah. It's like
Uh,
a line we have. Like it's
there
to an
is a
extent. Yeah.
right, there is a
Yeah.
line we have. We
Yeah.
do set boundaries, and that would be the second question to it. If you
hmm
do, should you establish the boundaries with your friends? So
Yeah.
I would say that it can be both ways. You could have a somebody that's involved, a friend that's involved in your relationship, but for men, I really think it should be only but so much. I think, and that's just the nature of men. We don't really talk about things that go on in our relationship until after the fact, really,
Yeah.
until it's either over, something has happened tragic, so on and so on and so forth. What you think, Doug?
Well, most times I think so. First, yeah, I think the first thing is it depends on the person. You know what I'm saying? Like we all need that person to vent to. We all need somebody to talk to. So
Hmm.
that's normal. It's not abnormal to in some way involve your friends into some part of what's going on in your relationship. That's not like there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem comes into with how deep or how detailed you get with certain things. You know what I'm saying? As far as the boundaries with men, I think that most men only share stuff when we got the advantage of, like, we only share the parts that we are winning in.
Right.
Like if a like if a, you know what I'm saying, like if a dude
Yeah,
is in an abusive relationship and his woman's abusing him
he's
and
not
talking
going.
to him all crazy and he treating him like shit, he's not gonna share that information. He's not gonna
Right,
go to his dudes and be like, man, this girl, she treat me like shit, bro. She talked to me in kind of way. She disrespectful. Like it's just
right,
most dudes aren't going to share stuff like that. You know what I'm
right.
saying? We only going to share the winning side, man. Let me tell you how I did this, how I did that. You
Yeah,
know, because
yeah.
it's just the nature of how we are. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
then again, going back to the other piece about knowing who your friends are, you gotta like guys. We understand that there's certain fellas that we call friends who you know not to share certain shit with about your woman or the
Right,
girl you with. You don't want to talk about the sex because you got certain dudes who gonna be trying to get at her because they
right,
want what you got. You know what I'm saying? Or they gonna make a play to let her know that you told them something that you probably wasn't supposed to tell them. So it depends on your relationship with the dude, how much you trust
hmm,
that whatever consequences come with whatever you tell them. I guess this is for women too. Whatever consequences that come with whatever you share with them, that those are consequences you can live with.
yeah,
I guess, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And I guess that's how you determine for me who you tell what to. Like if I say this to this person and somehow it gets back to my significant other, or I don't know, some crazy shit happens. is this a consequence that I can, I can take
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
what this person might do or say.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And I've actually had that happen to me where I've had somebody bring something to me, a friend of the person I was in a relationship with. The friend brought something to me that I didn't know was shared and brought it to me out the blue. And I
Right.
had to address the friend because the friend didn't get the whole story. The friend only got a perspective, and you find yourself not only defending yourself, but then you actually look at that person differently, and you can't trust the person that you actually with.
Yeah.
So that ties right back into what you're saying. You want to be mindful of who you're sharing your information to, your
Right.
friends, because not only are they going to be judgmental towards it, but they may even twist it up and bring it back to your significant other, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. They may bring it back to that person
Right.
at a later date after you and your relationship have moved forward and gotten past the issue. That's another thing. You and the person that you're with may have worked it out, but your friend may still be in that space. So that's another thing you definitely want to be mindful of. I would love for women to challenge us or even come onto the show and have a discussion about this particular topic, because I truly believe that women actually tell how they truly feel to their girlfriends. They don't discuss how they truly feel to their significant other.
Right.
And then eventually you can tell by the way the friend treats you on whether or not something's going on. Like, what's up with her?
Yeah.
Like, why every time I see her,
She looking
she
at me
got
sideways.
she looking at me sideways. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on with that? Like,
Yep.
well, I told her the argument we got involved. What happened last year? Last year?
Last year. Yeah. But I think those are boundaries too. So like when you asked the question about boundaries, I think there's boundaries for the person in a relationship and boundaries of what they should or shouldn't tell their friend. And I think also there's boundaries for the friend to where if a friend that you have in a relationship confides in you about something, there is a boundary that you should have as well to where you need to shut up about it and understand that it's not your place to say certain things at any moment in time, especially to your friend's significant other. Like that's not your place to do that. And I know we're gonna talk more about the boundaries thing, a little later on as we get more into this. But
Yeah, and that comes with the level of maturity too. Like, in order for the friend to stay out of it, so to speak, that word boundary is to just, provide advice and kind of just let the chips fall where they may,
yeah,
unless you see something that's detrimental to the person.
right,
Somebody's being abused, children are being affected,
right,
those type of things. You may want to, I can see somebody crossing those boundaries, but
yep.
other than that, yeah.
And as far as boundaries, I'll say from the person in relationship speaking to their friend, going into the boundaries thing is certain things on my list of boundaries that, you shouldn't talk about or you shouldn't share with your friends. You shouldn't be disrespectful to my significant other in my presence because of something that I told you about my relationship. That's
Great
one
point.
boundary for on the friend side. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Similar to the situation you was just talking about, it's not your place. Like, don't be disrespectful to your friend's significant other because you know something that they told you. That's not
Right.
your place to do. The other boundary for the friend, and I've seen this happen, is telling your friend's story to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in bars where I'm talking to a group of people, some ladies or whatever, and the friend is telling her friend's relationship business
To another friend,
to whoever listening,
to anybody.
to anybody.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like they at the bar, they drinking or whatever, and it's like what's going on, and she telling her friend's business about her friend's man. and then telling you that this what I told her about that, trying to get your input on her friend's relationship. That's not your place to do that. You know what I'm saying? The third boundary I'll say is if you see that your friend is uncomfortable with the conversation you're choosing to have about their relationship, like stop talking about it.
Right.
Stop providing your opinion because really what's the intention there?
That's a good point.
Going back to that situation, if you're more invested in talking about your friend's relationship issues and your friend is just kind of sitting there not saying nothing or kind of blow it off or change the subject, what is your intention in continuing to talk about it? And for those of you that have been in situations where that's happened to you, you should ask yourself that question. What was that particular friend's real intention of continuing to expand on your relationship?
I would. That's a good point. I actually, when you said that, I actually thought about the reverse piece of that as well, where just because someone is expressing their situation in their relationship doesn't necessarily mean that they need your help.
Facts.
They may just want to vent, want you to listen, want you to help them get clarity.
Right.
But they don't necessarily need you to take action or repeat certain things.
Right.
So I just thought about that.
Yeah.
So.
Or go to your significant other on your behalf.
Right.
That's not your
That's
place
what
to
I mean
do
by
that.
help. Right.
Yeah, that's not your place to do that. Hey, I want to talk to you about something that happened between y'all. What? Like that's not your place.
Yeah. A lot of times when people say complain about something, they assume that the person needs them to do something.
Right.
And that may not be the actual thing. You should actually, if you're confused about that, you should just ask the question: is there something that you need me to do? Is there something that is there something that I can do for you?
Right.
And then somebody, most people will say, no, it's nothing. I'm just frustrated about this particular situation.
Yeah, man. Another thing, I ain't gonna say the other, I'll say another thing is that I don't tell me if you feel this way, if you've seen this, where the friend feels like they have some type of say so on an opinion about the relationship because they've been friends longer than the person has been in the relationship. Like,
oh man,
I've been friends with this person for 18 years. You've only been in a relationship with them for 1 year. So therefore, that must means I have more say so and I matter in what's going on in your relationship because I've known them longer.
I think most men have gone through that.
That's some who made that rule up? Who told you? Who told you because you known this person longer that you got a right to know what's going on in my relationship because I've only been in a relationship with them for a year, but you've known them for 16 or 18 years. Who made that rule up?
Yeah, I don't know, but they clearly, and they do that amongst each other. The friends will do that amongst each other. I've been her friend for 18 years. You a new friend,
right?
So you and her man are new. So you a new friend and you a new man. I've been here. I've been here forever, and I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
And anything that she got going on, you got to go through me.
Go through me, right?
I mean, I know there are a lot of brothers. Yeah, I know it's a lot of brothers right now that don't even realize that they're in a relationship with a whole group of women. They don't even know it.
They don't even know it.
Oh man,
that's funny as hell.
Crazy, man.
You got a girlfriend and plus 4.
Plus 4.
That's
and don't even know it. Yeah. Everything you do is being discussed. Every time they go to brunch.
Everything.
Every time they have girl night out, what's going on with such and such? You the topic of discussion. Hey man, I'm just gonna shout out my brothers, man. Keep hope alive out there, man. Because it's hard.
Yeah, it is, man. And to the ladies who have that type of friendship. And to the fellas, if it's any fellas that got that type of friendship group where y'all just talk about, things you probably shouldn't discuss with all the fellas in your life. Again, like we said before, if you got one or two friends or even a three or whatever who you don't mind confiding in with certain things, that's cool. We all need that.
Mm-hmm.
But what you got to understand for everyone is that sometimes people genuinely have good advice for you when you bring them certain things that's going on in your relationship. You can tell them when you're angry about something your significant other did, your disappointment, how you felt disrespected, whatever it is. That's cool to have those kinds of high level conversations.
Right.
What you have to start seeing is, does that person give you good sound advice, or does that person try to make you do things that and they know your significant other would not want them to do? You gotta
Right.
ask, why is this friend consistently, like, if I go to you, Trey, and I
Mm-hmm.
say, man, let me tell you what my lady did, XYZ. And your response is, man, I tell you what, let's go get these hoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what? How's that the
It doesn't.
response?
That doesn't. Yeah. That doesn't help anything at all.
You know what I'm saying? Well, and what I'm saying is, if you consistently advise me to do something that you know is detrimental to my relationship
Right.
as a means of fixing an issue that I have in my relationship, if you have friends that do that on a consistent basis, you have to ask yourself why that person always gives you that advice as a resolution.
Yeah, because that for me that would mean that they truly aren't your friend because they're doing something that's going to be detrimental to you in the relationship instead of providing real impactful information, something that or just provide or just being a moral support. I mean, but trying to influence someone to go out and disrespect a relationship or disrespect a marriage or what have you, that would mean that they too don't respect the situation you're
Mm-hmm.
in. And this could be your best friend, or this could
Right.
be somebody that's very close to you. So
Right.
I think that's a great point. And then it goes back to the next thing. So what isn't off limits to share with your friends, and what is off limits?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would say it really depends on a lot of different elements. I would first start off by asking you, will this friend compare your relationship to particular situations that they've been in? Intimacies, I would say they should be off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, unless you know children or abuse is being done in some
Right.
aspect. But
Yeah.
I would really truly only answer that with, it really depends on who you're talking to
Yeah.
and
It does.
what and really and what their intent is. And that's really hard to figure out for a lot of people. A lot
Mm.
of people don't really understand who they're talking to. They,
Yeah.
they don't really pay attention to the characteristics.
Right.
This person's my friend because we grew up together.
Yeah. I'll say, as far as the intimacies, right?
Hmm.
I think I don't have a problem with anyone expressing that you're happy with the intimacy in
Right.
your relationship. That's fine.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
there's a level of detail for me that I don't think anyone should go into because it's disrespectful to the person you're with.
Hmm.
It would be weird. It would be weird and uncomfortable for me to sit with a guy I'm really close to, and he provides like intimate details about him and his lady's intimacy. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Obviously, there's a comfort level there, but it's just certain details. It depends on how deep of details you get with certain
Yeah,
things.
yeah. There's a fine line with
There,
that.
there- there's a line with it. There's a point where we're all going to stop giving details, and that line is different for everybody. But for the intimacy thing, it's okay to express that you're happy.
Hmm.
Like, I think that's cool. Yeah, this is going on. I'm happy. This person pleases me, or whatever it is. Like, we're adults. We talk about sex. Sex is what it is. It's a part of
Right.
life. It's a part of love. It's a
Right.
part of relationships. It's not like some crazy taboo thing that happens in the back of the shed in the woods. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
it's an expression of love and connection amongst people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a bad thing to talk about. It's just how you talk about it, one, and the maintaining your partner's respect when you do discuss it.
Right. Right.
For me, that's the difference when it comes to the intimacy thing. You know, as long as
Okay.
you're keeping it respectful, you share by all means, because
Yeah.
sex
Yeah.
is part of healthy relationships. I think any psychologist would agree with that or whatever. Like most healthy relationships also have some type of healthy or good sex life, you know, part of it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, for me, it's definitely if you have somebody who is very supportive of just your well-being and wants you happy, whether or not
Yeah,
they agree or disagree, they can provide that advice. But they are truly just genuinely happy that you're happy.
that's
You
right.
could definitely share information with that person, good or bad, because they truly just want you to be happy. But they're not going to
Yep.
lead you into the wilderness, into things that you may not even be comfortable doing.
Right.
And next thing you know, you on a trip on an island somewhere doing God knows what with whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because your friend done talked you into,
Right.
or your
You
boy
doing
done
shit
got
out of you
your
out of
boy
character.
your boy done got you out here wilding. And you like, man,
Right.
I just want my girl back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's a good one you just brought up about what's off limits. What else you got on your list?
Uh for what's off limits,
Yeah, like what is and isn't off limits to share.
let's see. What I have is it goes like I said, it goes back to the friend's intent,
Hmm.
that friendship. But that's really all I have for that.
Yeah,
When it comes to the details, whether it be good or bad, I'm just thinking
right.
that there are certain things that men just don't discuss versus
Hmm.
women. And then there's
Yeah,
certain things that men discuss that women don't. So
right.
I would like to really hear what women have to say about what is off limits and what is when it
Yeah,
comes to um, sharing information with their friends about
right.
their relationship. Would you say that men share more, or you would say women share more? I would say women share more.
I think women share more because, and I don't want to speak for women. I'm just going to say I think women share more because women have a more emotional experience with the things that happen in a relationship, and they
Yeah,
like to express those emotions with other women. You know what I'm saying? Because of
yeah,
that emotional roller coaster and experience of how
yeah.
women experience love and heartbreak and disappointment. I think they just experience the world different than men do.
Hmm.
So they're the way they share and want to connect those things with other women,
Yeah,
I think is it's kind of normal. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's abnormal for women.
yeah. Because I think it's really a level of support first and
Yeah,
foremost.
right.
The intent
Right.
is
They're
I
looking for
would
like a
feel like
support
a
system.
support system. Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah,
then I think for fellas, I think we do share information, but I think we're very careful with who we share it with. And it also depends how much the guy respects the woman that he's with and what
hmm,
she means to him. Because I know I've seen the difference between a guy who shares information about some chick he just, dating and, she just a jump off and how much detail he shares about like their bedroom experiences, what they doing, not doing, or whatever, versus the woman he claims eventually his girlfriend, maybe his wife. That those details of sharing are different. So I
yeah,
think for men, it depends on the level of respect and the seriousness of the relationship that they're in. Will detail how detailed they'll get with certain things with other guys.
yeah, yeah. When you say that, I just thought of one that brings it home for me. When you have, because I gave the example of the brother being on an island somewhere wilding out because his friends done said, man, forget her, man. Let's roll.
Right.
Your friends shouldn't dictate how you conduct yourself in a relationship.
Mm.
And I say that in a way where when they're giving you advice, they're not telling you what you should do. They're telling you how they feel about a particular situation.
Yeah.
And they saying, this is how I handle it, or this is how I handled the situation when I was in a particular situation. But the word dictate is when somebody says you need to do this and you need to do that. You're making the assumption that you were in the exact same situation with that exact same person. You didn't deal with that woman and you didn't deal with that man, even though you think you are talking about the same situation.
Yeah.
So I think the wordplay you should just be really mindful of when somebody's telling you and giving you advice versus a friend trying to dictate to you what you need to do. And the only time I think that comes into play is like I spoke about before, when it's really when help is really needed. So
yeah, that's interesting because
yeah,
what I'm thinking about is how men have a tendency to like be on a high horse of, man, this is what you should do,
right,
or this is what you should say.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And one thing that we kind of forget is that maybe that friend of yours doesn't react to things the way you do. You know what
exactly,
I'm saying?
can't handle the results.
And can't handle and do the things how you would do them. Maybe you a confrontational person. Maybe you fly off the handle and cuss your lady out and and
Right,
throw her out the door as soon as something happens. Maybe he's not that kind of person. Maybe he's more forgiving.
man,
Maybe
you hit
he's
it right
more,
on it.
you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's more tolerant. Maybe he wants to have a more subtle approach to fix the situation and not just throw it all away. And I don't think men consider the type of man that their friend is when they're giving him advice about his relationship issues. It's easy for me to say to anyone, I would do this and I would do that, and
Mhm.
completely miss the fact that the friend I'm talking to is nothing like me.
Yeah, I agree
You know what I'm
100%. You hit it right
saying?
on the head.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially when it comes to how we deal with our relationship. Most men aren't best friends and fellas because of how we deal with our relationship issues. That's not, most of us aren't connected from that experience.
Yep. I would agree 100%. And on top of that, I think men and women need to understand that there is hierarchy involved.
Mm,
And when I say that, um, in the friendship realm, you need to understand where you stand when it comes to this particular friend. Is this a big sister? Is this a big brother? Versus you being the big brother or
right,
you being the big sister. These are things that are very important when wordplay comes out in the midst of a relationship. And
right,
then, like you said, Dub, what you just explained is that there is a hierarchy in the relationship too, meaning that somebody can handle something better, may be able to handle something better than the other.
right,
Or the woman may be the strong one in a relationship, meaning that he's not going to just come home and just do what Trey and Dub told him to do because she runs the show and
right,
he doesn't feel comfortable coming and just saying what I get with the advice I gave him, hey
right,
man, you need to go and do this or do that. So
right.
I think it's very important that you understand the hierarchy in friendship and in a relationship because it does exist. You just need to be able to recognize it. And
Yeah,
then the best thing that I could do and think of for me giving advice to friends is to try to identify key characteristics that would help the situation, whether I'm in the relationship or if I'm a friend, identifying key characteristics and talking to those characteristics versus somebody just saying, hey, you need to you need to do this or you need to do that. Talking about characteristics, that may open up a different type of conversation. Well, she doesn't do this because she's this type of person, which could help you deal with the situation on whatever it is she or he is doing. Well, he has these type of characteristics. He's always out. He's always working, always doing different things. So he's not going to always be available. So people understanding the characteristics of one another, I think, is another key thing. But you hit it right on the head when you're talking about trying to dictate something and then who can handle what. And I think that ties into the hierarchy of friendships and personalities and characteristics. Who has confidence versus somebody who's a little bit insecure, who can communicate well versus somebody who doesn't communicate very well at all. So, and then you have those friends who may have those characteristics, which can help you, in a lot of situations, but you need to be mindful of, are these characteristics good characteristics, or are they bad characteristics? So great point.
Yeah. And sort of to wrap that up for y'all listening, stop telling your friend what you would do, because they're not you.
Right.
You're not in a relationship with the person they're in a relationship with. You don't feel the same way about the person who they in a relationship with. So when they experiencing things, they going through stuff, stop telling them what you would do. Man, I told him I'd do this. I tell her that. I say this to her. Well, guess what? She not yours.
That's right.
So once you get that man some advice of the person perspective of who he actually is, not who you are, to wrap all of that up.
Exactly.
Get off the high horse, man. I tell her this. Well, it ain't your relationship.
It ain't your relationship.
She ain't with you. She with him.
Right. And your friend. And your friend. So you know how, and you know what he can handle and what he can't handle.
Exactly.
So you should give him advice based on him.
Based on you knowing him. That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then something I thought of as well on the what isn't off limits. Something that is for me is strictly off limits. It is sharing like your significant other's past traumas. Like if they've had traumas from their childhood, or if there was like some type of previous sexual abuse, or if they were in a abusive relationship before they met you, or just anything they're dealing with, like emotionally or mentally, that they're working through, even currently working through, or that they've worked through already. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the types of things that for me, you don't share that information with other people.
I agree.
Those are things if your significant other shares that with you, those are things you hold lock and key. Those are things you don't share with anyone.
Because to the friend, it's current to them. That person may have grown, have moved past that have overcome that, but still dealing with certain things. But when you put that out to the world, it's current to the world, and they don't have the whole storyline. They don't have the work that woman or that man went through to overcome that particular trauma. All they have is that one thing that you said, and and the friend probably is not going to even listen to the rest.
Right.
Excuse me, not going to even listen to the rest of the story of how this person has continued to, grow and struggle with this particular trauma. But that's definitely a no-go. You should never speak on the history of somebody. And I've actually had somebody speak on that in regards to me when it comes to just history, not necessarily trauma, but just speaking on history, and still got it wrong. And people and most people out here really already know that when a friend or somebody who knows of you, once they open their mouth, 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about. Somebody told them a story, and then they took it and ran with it. And now when they see you, they open their mouth and they put their foot in their mouth because they have no clue on the facts. So,
what else?
Hey
Um,
man,
for
this the big question. Go ahead. I
for
was gonna go.
like
I
I
was
got
gonna go to the next question.
I got one more for you.
All right.
For the person in the relationship, do not tell your friends what your significant other thinks about them.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fellas,
That's a good
don't
one.
tell your fellas what your lady thinks about them. Ladies, don't tell your girlfriends what your man thinks about them, because that's going to shape the way they look at your significant other, and it's going to shape the advice they may give you later on if you happen to bring them some type of issues or problems. If you tell your friend, yeah, you know, so and so don't really care for you too much, they don't really like you, they think you bad for me, they think you lead me in the wrong direction, they think I should really cut off this friendship. Well, why would you tell your friend that and still be their friend? Because now you've built a distrust between the friend who you ask advice of
Mm-hmm.
and your significant other. So now, if you are really struggling with something in your relationship and you take it to that friend, your friend is going to give you advice from the perspective of knowing that your significant other doesn't like them. So they're not going to give you no sound advice. They're not going to say, oh man, you should go ahead and work it out and patch it up. And, y'all go fix that. They're going to be like, man, fuck that person. Leave them
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'll take it even a step further. It goes the other way around too. The person in the relationship shouldn't be telling the person in the relationship that, hey, my friend don't like you.
That's right. Facts.
It go both ways,
It does.
because as soon as you do that, the person in a relationship is going to feel some type of way and no longer going to want it's no longer going to support that particular friendship. You don't know what kind of may even make you choose between the two, depending on what type of person you're dealing with.
Right.
But
Right.
that's something that you should definitely keep to yourself and definitely try to work through with the friend or the person that's in the relationship. So yeah, I definitely think it go both ways, because
Yeah, definitely.
you can definitely hear, my girlfriend don't like you,
Yeah.
such and such.
Yeah. Her ass
And,
ain't coming to the cookhouse no more.
right,
Don't invite
right,
your friend over here no more.
exactly. She can't come in my house no
She
more.
can't come over here no more.
Hmm. So and then that hostility from both sides, either side,
Yeah.
it makes it difficult for the person that's in the middle that went and spilled them beans that they shouldn't never, because
Right.
most of the time it's speaking from a messy emotional place where you shouldn't
Right.
even be. The reason why the friend doesn't like you is for something that she probably told the friend,
Yeah.
and or vice versa. You know what I
And
mean?
really
So,
and again, really, what's the intention behind that?
right, right,
What
yeah,
what 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 is the desired outcome of you sharing that information? On
yeah,
either side of that. Like
on either side,
what are you expecting to happen from that? Are
nothing
you
good,
you know what I'm saying? Like
straight mess. Yeah,
yeah.
such and such don't like you. Soon as somebody say that, you just know it's just all bad, man. It's
Yeah,
all bad.
all downhill, bro.
Yeah. So another question that we have, and we probably will pose this
Mm.
on to the ladies. Would you trust your friends alone with your partner or spouse?
Mm.
So
Mm. Define that though. So again, that's another.
that's
It
a broad.
depends.
Yeah. I mean,
It
for me,
depends
friends. When I say friends, I have a newfound respect for the word
for the word.
as I become a older person in
That's
life.
true. You're right.
Um, a lot of people use the word friends very, very in a light
Loosely,
sense, loosely. Yeah,
very loosely.
yeah. I don't. So
Yeah,
for me, this answer is very simple. It's yes.
yeah,
Because my friend circle is very small, and I look at them as family.
yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, it's very simple. 10 years ago, this would have been a hell no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because what I thought was to be considered friends
right.
aren't really friends.
Yep.
So
And when I said it depends, that was a perspective that I was thinking of. It
Yeah.
depends on who you consider friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That will be, the difference between how you answer that question is
Right.
who you call friends.
Yeah. Because a lot of y'all got a whole lot of associates, but y'all call them friends.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, and that's
And
a whole nother show.
yes, indeed.
I think we did that. I
And
think
we
we
did
did.
it, and we did a show like that.
Yeah.
What do we call it?
Season
We
one.
something about friends that be hating or
Yeah.
it was in season 1.
Look it
If
up.
y'all listen to this, go back to season 1. We did an episode about friends who act like they friends, they really be hating and they not really on your side. I forget the name of the episode, man, but it's in season 1. Go listen
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but that's a good one. So I'm with you on that, man. I would definitely leave my significant other alone with my friends. I would trust my children in my friends' presence.
yep.
I would trust my friends to take care of my family.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying like if I wasn't here or I died or something. Just in general, like, hey, you gonna hang with so and so,
Right.
for a while, or this is where you going over so and so house, or even if my significant other and our kids went over my friend's house without me, and I was coming later or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like you said,
Right.
that definition of a friend, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
That question is more about the word friends
Yeah,
versus
it is.
the level of security versus insecurity that a person may have, because if you
Mm-hmm.
truly define the word friends,
Yeah,
it shouldn't matter. You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? If you truly have a friend there, that person has always been consistent with the well-being of you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it should never, and things that come into question, that would mean that person doesn't fall under that category. So
And you pick poor friends. You do a
whatever.
horrible you do a horrible job
Yeah.
at calling people friends.
Oh yeah,
If
they learning. They gonna learn. They gonna learn.
yeah, man.
Cause shit happens. Yeah.
Shit
Yeah.
does happen, bro.
Yeah.
And then it was another question I think we had talked about about can you establish boundaries
Boundaries.
and like what that looks like. And that question was I thought about that, and that was a little challenging for me to come up with even my own beliefs or thoughts about it. Like what those boundaries, established boundaries look like. Because I don't know if I've ever had to discuss with my friends my boundaries because I think we know them
respect.
already.
It's
Yeah, I
called
think we
respect.
know them already. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like you have to establish boundaries with your friends in relation to your relationships,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're not your friends, because that
Right.
doesn't seem like
There
a
you go.
conversation you would have to have with anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and believe it or not, I know people that do establish boundaries with their friends, but they that would mean that you're not holding yourself accountable on who's your friend versus who's not your friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you are trying to prevent something from happening,
Right.
and that's too much work. That's too much work
That's a lot
to
of work.
have to address those things. And for me, I just look at it really simple. It's about respect,
Yeah.
and but everybody views respect differently. You may have a friend that doesn't look at respect in that manner. So guess what? Friends should have like-minded characteristics. So guess what? That
That's
person
right.
that person would not be my friend because we don't
Right.
have the same characteristics.
That's right.
Therefore, I don't have to worry about establishing boundaries.
Because you're not gonna be in my boundary.
That's right.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna be in my presence too
You
much, right?
right. I don't have a problem being in the presence of you, but there will never be a situation where I have to establish boundaries
Yeah.
because I don't look at you as a friend. I look at you as an associate. So
Yeah.
I separate the two. And that's just how I do it, but fellas,
Mm-hmm.
definitely look around, check your surroundings and ask yourself, are the men around you like-minded? Do they have the same characteristics? Do they have the they don't have to be the same type of people. They don't have to be the same, make the same level amount of money, but do they have the same characteristics and that you're comfortable with and that you can trust? Those are just some key things I think will help you reflect and be accountable. But you got to be accountable for yourself first, because guess what? It may be you. You may be the friend.
You may be the bad friend,
the bad apple of the bunch, or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
hey,
yeah, you know,
yeah, you're right, man. And I would love to. I know you said this already. I would love if the ladies had something to say on this, and we can get a woman's perspective on having friends too far into their relationships in some capacity and what that looked like. Do women set boundaries with their girlfriends? Do they have to discuss that? Is that something that they have to tell their girlfriends and say, these are the rules of boundaries between our friendship and my relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like for the women?
I'm gonna answer for the ladies. Ladies, do not talk to your friends. Talk to your man. Do not listen to her. She is jealous of you. Just talk to your man. Keep it between you and your man. I got you, fellas. I got your back.
Right. They probably going to rewind that, fellas, and play it again.
Yeah, play it again. Play it back for. Play it back for, man. Do not talk to your girlfriends about nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing. Talk to your man. But seriously, I just want the ladies to talk to your man. You know, don't give the whole storyline and the whole thing to your girlfriends, and you give your man nothing. But then you want him to fix the problem. You know, he can't fix the problem if he don't know how you truly feel.
That's right.
You know, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. How many men are walking around not knowing that their lady have issues with something that her friends know about and you have no clue?
And you have no clue.
Damn. Shit.
Damn.
That's wild, bro.
Everybody, just about every man, just about every man walking the earth.
Every one of us in a relationship.
Every man walking the planet.
Yeah. And you know, and what's interesting about that, man, it don't even matter if you're in a relationship, a situationship. Y'all just fuck it. It don't matter what the situation is.
It don't matter what the situation is.
We all in it. That one situation, we all in that one.
Yep.
It don't matter what the relationship is.
They will confide in one another. They will not let us know the real deal. When they get to the man, it's watered down, it's filtered, it's trick questions and all of that. It's not the real deal. It's not the real direct issue. So yeah, ladies, y'all got to trust us a little bit and give us a little bit more information so we can address the issue. You know, stop playing.
Yeah, man. And closing out, be mindful of who you talk to. Be mindful of what you tell them, and know the consequences of what you're sharing with who you choose to share it with.
That's it.
We out.
We out.